Good evening, everyone. It's great to be with you all. What comes to your mind when you hear the word leader? Or maybe I can ask it this way. Who comes to your mind when you hear the word leader? Some of you might think of famous presidents. We have monuments that are built after them, street names that are named after them. And you might think to yourself, these are people who are leaders, naturally. They're important figures in our history. Or others of you might think, these kinds of people are leaders. Think about Oprah and the way that she's changed society, the way we think, the way we behave. Some of our ideology is in the fabric of our communities. Maybe she's a leader. Or consider people like this, tech behemoths, men and women who are literally changing the way we interact with one another. Entrepreneurs, famous business people. And you might think to yourself, surely they're a leader. But this next image, nobody will know who they are. This next image is my family. And you might think to yourself, who is that? The person on the left is my great-grandfather. He immigrated from Korea to America in the 1970s, fleeing communism. The gentleman standing up tall on the far right is my father. Without him, I wouldn't be here. And that is me, right there in the middle, saluting you all the way. So you might be thinking to yourself, who really is a leader? What does it take to be a leader? And just for the next few moments, I want to invite us to have a conversation about what the myth of leadership and discovering everyday leaders in the ordinary and mundane. For the last 8 years, my wife has worked in the spinal cord injury unit at the VA hospital. She works with our vets. And I know we're here, right here in Coronado. If there's some vets out there, thank you for being here. Thank you for your service. And my wife has an incredible job. It's incredibly challenging at times, as you can imagine. But one of the things she does is she helps men and women who are paralyzed from the waist down, from the neck down, and she does everything for them. She has an incredible feat, as you can imagine. And I'll never forget the story that she told me once. She said to me, Danny, I was working with a commander one time. And now imagine this commander, if you will. 6'3", 6'4", 250 pounds. He's a beast, right? I'm the shortest guy on stage. Jacques and Jeff are really tall as well. But this man, he oozes leader. He walks into a room and everybody turns to him. And quite literally, he looks down at everybody else. And at this point in time, he was paralyzed. And he had just got into the hospital 2 weeks ago. And my wife had the privilege of serving him. And quite ironically, she turned to him and said, "How can I serve you?" looking down. And as the days would go by, in his commander-like persona, he would sit there thinking, man, I wish I could be out there. Is this what my life is about now? And after 2 weeks, as she was serving him, she saw a tear running down his face. And she turned to him and said, "Sir, what's the source of your tears? Why are you crying?" And in that moment, he could have said a number of different things, couldn't he? He could have said, "You know what? I'm crying because I'm sad that I can't run." It's a very legitimate thing, don't you think? I can't put on my shoes and go for a walk. And that's why I'm crying. He could have said a number of different things. He could have said, "You know what? I'm crying because I miss being able to stand up from my captain's chair, look at the Pacific Fleet, and say, go here and go there. I miss influence and power. I miss being able to stand in front of hundreds of people and directing them where they should go." But you know what he said that I'll never forget? He turned to my wife and said, "The reason why I'm crying is because I miss the men and women that I served every day." You see, leadership isn't about what you do. It's about how you choose to serve. Leadership isn't a title, isn't a resume, isn't a pedigree, isn't experience, isn't positional power, because guess what? That can be taken away, just like it was for this man. He would no longer be able to serve to the capacity he had been for so long. Leadership is about how you choose to serve. As Gandhi once said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. So what kind of qualities does a leader have? It's one of service orientation. The last story I want to share tonight is a simple one. Once upon a time, there was a young boy who was in grade school, and he was in class, and his teacher came up to him and said, I want you to give this note to your mom. I want you to put it in your backpack, and I want you to take it straight home, and I do not want you to open it. Have you ever gotten that letter before? All you can think about is opening that letter, right? You're like, I just want to open it. What's in my... And all day long, it was in his backpack, waiting anxiously for him to be able to take it to his mom. And so then he goes to his mom, gives her the note, and she opens it up. And all of a sudden, she begins to cry. And he turns to his mom and says, Mom, why are you crying? And his mom says, Son, your teacher says you are so brilliant and bright that you are far surpassing your kids, the other students in class. I need to now homeschool you moving forward. He said, okay, I guess that's fine. So the next several years, he began teaching. She began teaching him. He would go and vent, and he would go play, and he would explore, and he would find all things that he can get his hands on, and he would progress through grade school. And several years later, his mother passed away. And as he was rummaging through her stuff, he pulls out some of her old notes, and she finds it. He finds the note that she had written, that the teacher had written to him so many years ago. And as he reads the note, he begins to cry. Why is he crying? Because the note did not say that he was brilliant and smart. The note said that actually he was addled. He was falling behind, that he wasn't smart enough to stay with the kids in the classroom, and so that he could no longer participate in the classroom setting, and he needed to now be homeschooled from his mom. You see, the true hero of this story is not this young boy. It's actually the mom. This young boy is Thomas Edison, great inventor of our time. You see, leadership is not about what you do or your resume or your title. It's about how you choose to see. How do you see the people who are in your spheres of influence? Do you look at them with a lack of confidence? Do you look at them as objects to be moved? Or do you choose to look at them with a perspective that says, I believe in you better than you believe in yourself? Because that's what this mom did. He says, I see something in you, and my job is to bring out the best in you. So I want to turn the question to you this evening. What comes to your mind when you hear the word leader? Who might you consider to be a leader? Could you be? Is there someone, even after my talk, after these talks this evening, is there someone that you might need to pick up your phone, give a text message, and say, hey, I'm thinking about you? Is there someone that you might need to say, how can I intentionally become in your life so that I might serve you selflessly? Because those are the leaders that make all the difference. Those are the unsung heroes in our lives. And you too can be a leader like that. You see, leadership is not about what you do. It's about how you serve, and it's about how you choose to see. My name is Danny Kim. It's been a pleasure sharing the stage with you tonight. Thank you very much.